Now, after all of the fraction stuff that we talked about, we've done quite a bit. We've done equivalent fractions, we've done reducing fractions, we've done converting fractions, mixed to improper, proper to improper to mixed. We also did addition, subtraction. We did multiplication yesterday. Now we're down to dividing. So how do we divide fractions? It says here, the following box reviews the rules that we follow when dividing a fraction. Okay? Well, numbers too. So the same applies with fraction. And so to divide a fraction, this is a super straightforward rule. To divide a fraction, we turn the second fraction into its reciprocal. Reciprocal. That's a word that maybe some of you have heard before. Maybe that's something new to you. But the word reciprocal means that whatever is in the numerator and the denominator, you switch those two around. Okay? So that's what reciprocal means. We switch the places of numerator and denominator. So when you see here flip, that's what's happening. Flipping the numerator and denominator. And then, something that's not new to us is to multiply the fraction. So, two steps here. Reciprocate, multiply. And how do we multiply again? We said yesterday, to multiply, we take the numerator times the numerator, and then denominator times denominator. Okay? And then, if we need to reduce, we reduce. That's yesterday's step. So let's go ahead and try example 1a. It says here, 3/4 is divided into 2/5. So 3/4 is divided into 2/5. So how do we do that? So 3/4. Okay, so write the first one is exactly the same thing. And then we're gonna multiply the reciprocal. Reciprocal would be 5 over 2. 5 over 2. So what's that equal? Okay. Yesterday we said we can reduce if we can. We can cross reduce here. This one we can't reduce. This one we can't reduce. We can't cross reduce here. We can't cross reduce there. So we'll just multiply as it is. So that 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. Now, having that, what did we get here? It produces a fraction called improper fraction. And what's an improper fraction again? Means. Oh, I thought you said means. You said mixed. So you're saying we have to turn this into mixed, correct? Okay, yeah. Because improper means the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So we can write it as a mixed number. So 15/8. Okay, you could do the long division. So 15 divided by 8, how many is that? Just 1. And then the remaining is 7/8. Okay, 1 and 7/8. What about that? This piece. 1/4 divided by 3/4. So we keep the same fraction. And then we're going to multiply the reciprocal. It's going to be 4/3. Okay, what can we do here?
You cancel the 4s?
Yeah. We could do two different ways. we can start multiplying numerator, numerator, denominator, denominator. We could do that, but then we would have to reduce later. Or what Carl had suggested is we could probably reduce first. So smaller number is what we're going to have. So 1/4 cannot be reduced. 4/3 cannot be reduced. What can reduce? Yeah, 4 and 4. They both can be reduced into 1 and 1. Both of these could be divided by 4. And then we can't cross reduce 1 and 3. So what's left over? What's left over is 1 times 1, which is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. So it's 1/3. Oops, I forgot the line. Okay. Yeah, I could do exactly the same thing as the number 1. So I can just go like this, or, okay. And this is perfectly fine. You do whichever makes sense to you. Okay. Here, we could do is 1/4 times 4/3. So that's going to give us 1 times 4 is 12. Oh, that's the denominator. 4 12s. 4 12s. So 4 12s. Okay. I realize that I get a 4 12s, and I also realize that there's a common factor here of 4. So we can divide this by 4. Divide this by 4. So we're going to get 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay? So they're going to produce the same number, right? Same answer. Slightly different strategy. This is reducing and then multiplying. And then this one is multiplying and then reducing after. So not a big one. Is that good? Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at letter C. 4 is divided by 1/8. 4 divided by 1/8. What number do we get? So 4 times, what's the denominator for 4? 1. 1, yes. Times, so changing it to multiplying reciprocal, 8 over 1. Okay. Numerator times numerator, that's going to give us 32 over 1, which is also just 32. Now, normally when we're dividing, the result gets smaller, right? Right? Normally when you're thinking, like when you're dividing, it should get smaller. And then why did it become 32? Okay. What's our explanation for that?
Because 4 is 1.
Mm-hmm. So 4 over 1? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's going to be 4 over 1. Okay, any other explanation? Any other responses? 4 divided into 1/8 will give you 32. Why? Yeah, go ahead. I'm waiting. The class is waiting. Okay. Yeah. 32 parts. Okay. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. She said, I gotta do 4 circles, right? Okay, 4 circles, okay?
Each have 8 classes.
Okay, and you divide that into 8s. Okay, so 8s. something like this. These are 8s. Okay, so where did the 32? I don't see a 32 here. Where's the 32?
4 times 8 is
Yeah. So if you have 4 pies and you cut the pies, you divide the pies into eighths, 1/8 of a piece for each one. How many pies will you get? 32. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So if you have 4 pies and you cut your pies into eighths, that's this portion, that eighth of a portion, how many pieces would you get? So yeah, that's what you're thinking about. Okay, yeah, okay, good. Thank you. Now, what about this one? Negative 4 11ths, so negative 4 11ths. What are we going to multiply it by? Okay, we're supposed to reciprocate the second fraction. So what would it be? This is, remember, 8 over 1. So if we reciprocate it, it's going to be 1 over 8. So 1 over 8. So what's that equal to? It's going to be a negative times a positive. It's going to be, the product is negative. Okay. Do you want to multiply in and then reduce later? You want to do that? Okay. So 4 times 1 is 4 over 11 times 8 is 88. And then we realize that, can I reduce this?
Yeah.
Yeah, what can we do to reduce? Yeah, we can reduce by 4, yeah, divide by 4 fourths. So that's going to give us negative 1 over 22. So far, so good? Okay. Letter E. Anybody has an idea on how we deal with this type of question? Now we got some mixed. Okay, what do you call that? We're gonna change this to improper fraction. We want to put names to or vocabulary to our practice here, because if we get used to using the correct vocabulary. So instead of flipping, use the word reciprocate, right? So this one here, what do? This is a mixed fraction. We're going to change it to an improper fraction. So you're already somebody already told me the strategy here. So can I call someone? Is it okay to call someone? Would you be scared? Yeah. Okay. Well, raise up your hand if you. Who would like to volunteer? How about this? Who would like to volunteer to tell me what this is? What is this in improper? Okay, Carla. Yeah.
3 over 2.
3 halves. Okay, 3 halves. 3 over 2. Excellent. Thank you. I'm just gonna go like this. I'm not flipping it yet. Okay. Okay. Who would like to volunteer for this one? Negative 17 over 8. Okay, good. So what you're gonna do, okay, is change.
Wouldn't it be negative 15?
17 is okay.
So 8 times 2 is 16, 17. I think you thought it was 7. Oh yeah, okay, yes. Disregard the negative first. Just focus on this one. Yeah, don't do the negative. So negative, just write it down right there, and then do 8 times 2, 16, this one, 17. Okay, so write it out first as from mixed to improper. Okay, from here, what do we do next?
Flip it on the bottom.
Okay, flip. Another word for flip?
Reciprocate.
Reciprocate. Okay, Noah, tell me how I write it.
3 over 2
Mm-hmm.
times negative 8 over 17.
Perfect. Okay, good. Now, if you want to multiply it now, go ahead and do that, and then you gotta reduce later. Another possibility is reduce now, multiply later. Okay, so which one do you want to do? Okay.
Multiply.
If somebody multiply, okay, yeah. If somebody's would ask me, if somebody would ask me which one would be better, I would say reduce first and then multiply. Okay, because it's harder to reduce when you have a bigger number. It's harder to calculate mental math, at least, with this. Okay, so I mean, it's not super big. I could do it, right? But cross reducing and reducing would be better. So 2 and 8 could be cross reduced. They could both be divided by 2. So this is going to be 1 and this is going to be 4. Okay, so 3 times negative 4 is going to give us negative 12 over 17. When I do this, I can just deal with smaller numbers. Okay, but it's also okay to multiply and then reduce later. You're gonna get the same answer. Last but not the least, 5, and then divide that into 2/3. So think of it as like 5 pies, and then you're gonna cut it into 2/3 of the size. Somebody would like to volunteer on how this is going to be done. 5 over 1. Yeah. Times 3 over 2. Okay. Okay. Can we cross reduce? No, nothing, right? 5 and 2 don't have a common factor. 1 and 3 don't have a common factor. So we'll just multiply it out. That's going to be 15 over 2. What do you call this? Improper. Improper fraction. So if it's improper, write it as a mixed. So who would like to volunteer on answering the last step there? 7, 1 half. So 15 divided by 2 is 7, remaining 1, and then the same denominator. Excellent. Good job. Mm-hmm. Reciprocate. Yeah, oh, yeah, reciprocate. So reciprocal means to flip or reciprocate. Reciprocate the second fraction. Reciprocate the second. Oh, That's all right. That's okay. Not a big deal. Okay, so that concludes that lesson. There's a few questions for you to try at the back, so I'll give you a moment to for sure at least get started on that.